Something big, really big, is headed toward Earth as we speak. Some say that it is extraterrestrial in nature. However, NASA is, as usual, claiming it is just a comet. Avi Loeb, an astrophysicist from Harvard University, has some theories about what this could actually be, and I want to check them out with you guys because this is very, very creepy. I want to know what you think is coming. Let me know down in the comments, but let's just get right into it.
You now say this is not only an alien spaceship, but it's nuclear powered? Why are you saying that?
Well, thanks for having me. First, I should say that if the light that we observe from this object is reflection of sunlight, its size needs to be bigger than Manhattan Island, 20 kilometers or so. And there isn't enough rocky material in interstellar space to deliver a rock of that size earlier than 10,000 years from now.
Oh,
so
wow.
The question is, what is it? And its orbit, the trajectory that it takes, is aligned with the plane of the planets around the sun to within 5 degrees. That's a chance of 1 in 500. And moreover, the timing.
What does that tell you? What does that trajectory tell you?
Well, it indicates that perhaps it was designed by some intelligence.
That's something steering it.
Not necessarily, but the trajectory itself was chosen to be such that this object will pass close to Mars, Venus, and Jupiter. The chance of that happening, the timing of its arrival is perfect for that, with a likelihood of 1 in 20,000. And so
wow.
I'm just saying we should observe it. It doesn't look like it's a random occurrence.
All right, so a couple really odd things to take into account. The trajectory seems kind of odd. He's saying it's a 1 in 500 chance that it could actually be on that trajectory randomly, because it's passing quite a few planets, might be something that's kind of like a probe out there checking things out. And the size of this object, what he's saying is it couldn't possibly have collected all of this dust and debris from space to grow to be as large as it is unless it was traveling for 10,000 years. So he's saying this shouldn't be this large unless it was 10,000 years from now. So, putting my conspiracy hat on, I even start to think like something about time travel in this whole situation as well. So let's see what else is going on with it.
The size, the trajectory, the fact that it comes so close to 3 planets in our solar system, and actually it comes closest to the sun on October 29th, when the Earth would be on the other side of the sun. We won't be able to observe it. I'm analyzing.
I find that very coincidental as well, that it's kind of going to be hidden from Earth as it passes the closest to us. That's also kind of strange.
Right now, the best image we have of it, we don't have any evidence for gas around it in the spectrum that was taken, but we do see some fuzz, some halo of scattered light around it.
We're looking at the image now. What does that tell you, that halo of light around it?
Right. So usually for comets, you see a cometary tail trailing the objects from behind because it's being pushed by the radiation from the sun. The dust particles are pushed to be behind, to lag behind the object. In this case,
this is
what
so
we're
wild.
seeing is a glow in front of the object. And I'm analyzing first, if this is caused by dust. The amount of dust is very little. Over 6 months, the amount of dust that will be ablated from the object to generate this glow is just less than a millimeter thick. So it could be just dirt on a solid surface of such an object. And the question is, what is the nature of this object? Of course, as it gets closer to the sun, we would get a better view of it, and we could.
Very strange that, if NASA's saying it's a giant comet, where is the tail of the comet? Because that's missing. He's saying there's light in front of it rather than behind it like a comet. That's also very suspect, isn't it?
Use spacecraft like Juno next to Jupiter. I spoke about it with Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna. She called me on the phone and I gave her an update about the object, and she encouraged in a formal letter she wrote to the head of NASA, Sean Duffy, the Secretary of Transportation, to encouraging NASA to use Juno, which is next to Jupiter, to come close to 3I Atlas when it will get there on March 16th, 2026.
So Juno could gather some data, take some pictures of this thing?
Yes, but also a camera that is next to Mars, because this object will come very close to Mars as well on October 3rd, 2025. And it will be within a distance of 29 million kilometers from Mars. And there is a 0.5 meter camera that is currently used to watch Mars itself. But I encourage the team that operates it to look at 3i Atlas, and they can get a pixel resolution of 30 kilometers around this object. So we can get...
Obviously, that's kind of like the logical thing to do would be to, put some of our stuff that we've got out in space, put it to work, get a picture of it, see what it looks like. And then instead of sinking Juno into Jupiter, go ahead and send it out to check out 3i Atlas. I think that would be the next logical step. As it is, we don't know if that's what they're going to do. And we will have some more information as this thing kind of gets closer and we can see a little bit more. But right now, this is like a very big mystery. It's kind of scary. The size of this thing alone, they can't really see quite yet what it is, but the trajectory is very odd to be just a comet.
What the nucleus of this object is.
And super quick, Avi, is there any reason to be concerned about this?
Yeah, you never know what kind of intent it has. And I think we should, in the future, have some international organization that decides how to respond to a visitor to our backyard, because that visitor may enter through the front door.
So that's kind of interesting / terrifying, isn't it? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I have something else that I want to show you that I found really, really interesting. And I think you guys will kind of find it pretty cool as well. This is a world view map of all the UFO sightings, I think since 1954 or something like that. And this comes from the National UFO Reporting Center. There's an actual website that you can go to if you want to check it out, or if you want to file a report because you yourself have seen something strange and you think it needs to be reported. So this is basically just a giant, a giant globe we can check out. And it actually has dots on it where there's been UFO sightings. The red are older ones and the green are the most recent UFO sightings. And as you can see, in some of these places, there aren't many sightings. However, you do have to realize that these are places that maybe don't have great internet access or don't know anything about this website, things of that nature. These are just things that have been reported by people that know about this. Morocco, Spain, Italy, Switzerland, there are some more sightings, and there's quite a lot here in the United Kingdom compared to everywhere else. Germany, we've got some in Germany, but it's very, very interesting to see just how many people actually see something that they can't explain out in the sky, right? There can't just be nothing to it if all these people are seeing something. Now, I want you to have a look at the United States. This is wild to me. This is totally wild to me. Now, I completely understand this is probably a website that was made in the United States. Probably more people in the United States know about it, use it, etc. And that's why there's so many reports. It's just really, really prominent in the UK and the US. However, there's nothing really in Greenland, just really nothing in Canada. But it does kind of creep me out a little bit because look at all these green ones. Look at all the latest, most recent sightings. There's tons of them. So if you want to go to this website and check it out, you can take a look at where you live, kind of zoom in, see what's what right around where you live. You can get very, very close and, and see what's there. What I also find interesting is that if you look at this map, you kind of see little spurts of large amounts of UFO activity in certain areas. And then it kind of pans out into, lesser, but there are some very localized sightings. But yeah, you can go and check it out. I will leave a link to the website in the description of this video. Now, like I said, they do have a place where you can file a report if you should see anything, but they also have a data bank. The New Fork Data Bank is the largest independently collected set of UFO UAP sighting reports available on the internet. This has been going on for 25 years. It's been the go-to resource for researchers and the general public interested in following the most recent firsthand UFO witness accounts or delving into the deep archives of historical reports. Now, these reports are freely available to the public to browse through the indexes below. All right, so you can see they've got tier 1 is the most dramatic sightings. Tier 2 is objects exhibiting unusual characteristics and incredible speed. Tier 3 is other reports that cannot be easily explained. Tier 4 is reports we feel are explained by human or natural phenomenon. So you can go here and click on any of these reports that you would like to take a look at. There is just a lot of information on this data bank. And, I find it just very interesting just how many UFO reports and UFO sightings there have been. And now we've got 3i Atlas heading straight for us. And we have no idea what the hell it is. We really don't know. And of course, NASA is just going to keep telling us that it's a comet. Not to worry, it's just a comet. There's just a lot of things that make this kind of scary. So let me know what you think down in the comment section, and I'll see you guys on the next one.